Welcome to the Success Sensei Podcast for anyone interested in success, happiness, and balance. We'll teach you how to be a black belt at life. And now, your host, former professional fighter, multiple world champion, entrepreneur, and investor, Robert Devan.
Bowing in, this is Robert Devan, the Success Sensei, helping you to win a life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 330, Why They Don't Want You to Succeed and How You Can.
It's the Success Sensei Podcast main event.
Why they don't want you to succeed and how you can. First off, who are they? Well, there's many people that might not want you to succeed. The obvious ones are your competition. A competition can be in life, in business, in sports. Sports is the most obvious one. As friendly and all as your competition may pretend that they are to you, why would they want you to succeed if it means that they're going to lose? So the people that don't want you to succeed, the obvious ones are your competition, your opponents. The other ones that may not want you to succeed are your peers, people on the same level as you, perceived to be on the same level as you, colleagues, workmates. They might not want you to succeed, especially if they feel, Asher will talk about the reasons in a second. Who else might not want you to succeed, which could be, we're getting a little bit more personal, we're getting a little bit more surprising now. Friends, you do have friends in your life that may not want you to succeed. That's a hard thought, a horrible thought, not a nice thought, but it's true. There's no point burying your head in the sand. There are people around you masquerading as friends who don't wish the best for you, who would love to see you fail, and they don't wish for you to succeed. The next even harder one to feel comfortable about is there are people who could even potentially be, who are family members who may not want you to succeed. That one hits hard. That one might hit home for some people. Some people could be in denial. Some people might not even realize it has affected choices that they've made and choices that they haven't made, but it is possible for there to be rivalries amongst family members. Just think of any of those reality TV shows where family members are at each other's throats over certain things. That people think it's great viewing and people think it's very entertaining, but it could be going on within your own family unit or extended family unit, unbeknownst to yourself. You don't know what's going on in people's minds, whether they're wishing the best for you or wishing the worst for you. You know, neighbours might not want you to succeed. They definitely might not want you to succeed in growing hedges over their boundary fence. Strangers. There's a 50% chance that somebody, before they've even met you, is going to like you or not like you, want you to succeed or not want you to succeed. A 50% chance. It's a very high statistic, and one that I've just made up. So I don't know if that's true or not, but you could imagine it's a 50% chance of someone liking you or not, or wanting you to succeed or not. Apparently there is a study, and it's some high percentage of people, before they've even met you, heard your voice, seen what you look like, know who you are, have already decided that they're not going to like you. So according to a statistic in a study, there's a percentage of people who aren't going to like you before they've even ever met you or know that you exist. So that's a pretty hard, thing to it's pretty hard to dissuade anybody who's already decided. If you start off on the back foot and, statistics are against you and there are, a percentage of people that aren't going to like you before they even meet you, then sure, how are they going to want you to succeed? The other obvious people that, might not want you to succeed is just society in general. It's a wider subject, but is society set up in such a way as to not want others to succeed? The powers that be, we're getting into conspiracy regions now, but the powers that be, the people in charge, the man in inverted commas, as they say in the US, is it set up against you? Are you supposed, someone like you, someone who is you, someone like you, someone from your neck of the woods, someone with your educational background, someone with your disadvantages, someone with your lack of connections, lack of knowledge, lack of experience, lack of funds? I'm sure you've told yourself this before. Are things against you? Is it set up for you not to succeed, with all the negativity everywhere, with constant, regulations, with constant changes in laws and taxation? And is it simply set up? Are you simply not meant to succeed? Well, whether you believe all that to be true or not, there are reasons of which we'll go through, but whether you believe it all to be true or not, there are things that you can do. You can absolutely strengthen your resolve to want to succeed. You can fight harder. You can become mentally stronger. You can become physically fitter. You can get into the right mindset that despite all this adversity that we're talking about, there are things that you can do, and you can still succeed despite all the odds. Now, that all might sound, all these people, your competition, your opponents, your peers, your friends, family, strangers, neighbours, society, are, the powers that be, whatever you consider them to be, whether you consider them to be the elites or just the government in general, whatever. It's very negative, and it can be a very negative mindset to think that all of these people, are striving to make sure that you can succeed. They mightn't be striving, they mightn't be putting much time into it, but that's a hard enough mindset. I would hate for you to just dismiss it all as conspiracy and not arm yourself. If it's incorrect, great. If it's wrong, that's super. But either way, you should absolutely strengthen your resolve and strengthen your ambition and strengthen your plans and your action steps in order to give yourself the best chance to succeed. To bury your head in the sand and to think that, it doesn't go on, people wanting to see you fail, is to set yourself up for failure, or absolutely to make yourself more vulnerable when you do come across obvious hardships and, hidden agenda hardships. It's very easy to become frustrated. So you need to, at least be aware that this can go on. Now, why would certain people not want you to succeed? You're a sound, nice, cool, positive, happy person with a good heart who's down to earth and would help anybody. Of course you are. So why would anybody, specifically people who are close to you, how hurtful is that? Why would they not want you to succeed? Well, the obvious ones are jealousy and resentment. Do not underestimate how potent they are as humans in our society, especially now. I think it's always been prevalent. Every history story, every tale has resentment and jealousy embedded in it somewhere. How many good leaders have been overthrown due to jealousy and resentment? How many families? You get the idea. As soon as you underestimate the potency of jealousy and resentment, I think you put yourself in a vulnerable position. Some people simply feel you are not worthy. They feel that you haven't paid your dues. They feel you should have it harder. They just don't think you have the right attitude, the right skill set, the right experience. Some people feel it should be them. So they're obviously playing the comparison game. Some people, if you succeed, they will feel that it reflects poorly on their efforts and their performance. Again, the comparison trap. Some people simply wish to retain power and control, as minute and as minuscule or as false as it actually is, as delusional as they may be. That's how they feel. Your success affects their perceived power and control. Maybe there's just, natural competition in human beings. Maybe it's hardwired into our psychology to want to compete with each other. There are limited resources, in certain areas. So people do believe, especially people who don't have an abundance mindset, they do believe that your success affects or decreases resources available to them, whether those resources are commodities. It could be time, energy, money, material, possessions. So that's a list right there. That's a real negative list. Jealousy and resentment is one of the reasons why people might not want you to succeed. They simply feel you're not worthy. They simply feel it should be them getting success and not you. They might believe that it reflects on their poor efforts and performance if you succeed. They want to protect their position, their power, their control, the natural competition that's hardwired into humans, human psychology, and the competition for limited resources, whether perceived or whether real. There's some of the reasons why any number of people might not want you to succeed. So just a quick reminder, it's not just your opponents. It could be your peers, it could be your friends, your frenemies posing as friends, can be family members, can be strangers, can be neighbours, can be society in general, can be the powers that be. So what can you do to protect yourself from unseen, unnoticed? That's the worst of it, is when you have opponents you don't even realize are opponents. You have competition, and a competition is simply somebody who wants the best for them and therefore wants the worst for you. That's the opposite of wanting you to succeed. They want you to fail for all those reasons we listed. So what can you do to protect yourself? What can you do to ensure your success? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There could have been way more, but sure, here's 7 points. Who doesn't love numbered points? Number 1, not in any particular order. This week I should add. Number 1, keep your cards close to your chest. Hide your ambition. The less people that know too early on about what it is you want to do, the less people that know, the better. The less people that can get in your way, hijack your goals, your dreams, your desires. It should be a need to know basis. If those people aren't confirmed as being the same mindset as you, then why share it with them? Because you're likely to encourage resentment and jealousy if they're not on the same wavelength. If the people, it's not necessarily about just sharing it with people who can help you, because there's going to be times when you're going to be helping others as well, but that does come into it. People are of the same mindset who want to achieve what it is you're setting out to achieve, or have achieved what you're setting out to achieve, but absolutely are on the same path and would encourage you to go for it. They're the people that you share it with. Everybody else, and you're going to have to do a right filtering out process to figure out what side people are on, which brings us on to point number 2. Weed out the jealous and resentful people. You're going to have to get very good at this game very early on. The longer someone who is destructive is in your life, the more destruction they can cause, the more negativity they can cause, the more opportunity they have to scupper your plans, your goals, your dreams, your desires. So you're going to need to get good at weeding out and ruthlessly evicting jealous and resentful people. So here's where, if your head's buried in the sand, and I believe that the majority of people are good, they're simply getting on with their lives and doing the best that they can. But if you're in denial that there are jealous and resentful people out there, or that it can be destructive to you and your goals. If that's something that you have your head in the sand over and you refuse to believe that, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So number 2 is weed out the jealous and resentful people. Number 3, be prepared to succeed in the dark. Don't need praise. Don't need acknowledgement. Be an underground success. Don't look for the attention from others. Hopefully you're not in a career that requires that or demands it. And even if it does, the majority of your success will be away from the limelight if you're to ensure that, again, you're not going to give too many opportunities to people who could prevent your success or take the shine off your success. Success, I probably should have said early on, is how you feel about yourself. Success is in your heart and in your mind. It's not what other people paint the picture to be. So if that is true, don't crave. You don't need anyone else to validate your success. You don't need their praise. You don't need their acknowledgement. Only from the ones that you're very close to. Only from your loved ones, and real loved ones, not fake loved ones. Outgrow as many people as possible in order to succeed. So you have to be prepared to outgrow. That doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with long-term friends. You can't have, relationships with long-term peers, but be prepared to outgrow as many people as possible to get to. It doesn't mean that you can't help them. Of course you can, but it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to help people when you've outgrown them. So be prepared to outgrow your mentors, your teachers, be prepared to outgrow as many people as possible. It's like giving to charity. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier to give to charity when you have excess money in your pocket. So if you can concentrate on accumulating first, then you're going to, if you feel guilty about having large sums of money, then you're in a great position to give. If you feel guilty about outgrowing people in your life, then it's going to be an absolutely brilliant situation and position for you to be able to give back and to help those people. So be prepared to do that. Don't be influenced by others or their paths and agendas. By the way, this is point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I lost count there. Don't be influenced by others or their paths or agendas. We are way more influenced by others than we give credit for. And that means that there are decisions that we're making and decisions we're not making, far too many times based on our perceived opinions or our perceived notions of what other people's opinions may be. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But, comparison is the thief of joy. As soon as you start comparing and competing yourself and becoming resentful and jealous, all of this stuff is in you. If you're a human being, listen to this and not AI, it's in you as well. So to protect yourself and not to become the very thing we're talking about, you don't be influenced by others and their paths and their agendas. You don't know what other people are experiencing. You don't know if what they're projecting is true or not. Either way, stay focused on yourself, which is the point number 6. Focus 100% on your own path. Stick to your own path. Know what you're doing. And number 7, be prepared for a long-term journey. Be prepared to invest in yourself and in your plans and in your success for decades. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. If you love what you're doing, if you're following the correct path, you'll be quite happy that it's taken a long time. You won't be looking for that overnight success. So number 1 way to bulletproof yourself, not to let others prevent your success, is to keep your cards close to your chest. Number 2, weed out jealous and resentful people. Number 3, be prepared to succeed in the dark. Number 4, outgrow as many people as possible. Number 5, don't be influenced by others. Number 6, focus 100% on your path. Number 7, be prepared for a long-term journey. Well, what do you think about all that? What do you think about all that negative talk about why they don't want you to succeed, who they are, and if those reasons are, true? And there's a lot of negativity in that. There's a lot of positivity if you concentrate on the ways that you can continue to succeed despite the adversity. Did I get those right? Did I miss out any? What do you reckon? How do you feel? A lot of people, when I'm talking to about any of this kind of stuff, everyone is very secretive, and only in a one-to-one setting are people really willing to divulge that any of this is even going on. A lot of people aren't willing to admit this. I'm just worried about the people that aren't willing to admit it to themselves, that all of these games are being played, because I don't know that you can protect yourself or guarantee your success enough simply by being a nice person. Being a nice person is absolutely of paramount importance. It is a requisite for success, although a lot of people can succeed without being a nice person. But just being a nice person on its own isn't enough. Let me know what you think. Message me anytime. Thank you for listening. I'm Robert Devan, the Success Sensei. Life is a fight you can enjoy and win. Bowing out.
This has been the Success Sensei, fighting the winning fight. So add us, subscribe, like, and comment. Keep those hands up and keep moving forward.